Hello, the weekend is over. Time for us all to get over it. All of us, myself included. Myself being Adrian. And this is Rabona TV's Weekend Recap, the recap of the weekend. It's over. But the ongoing love affair between Rabona TV and OneFootball is not over. Our gracious sponsors, the OneFootball app, keeps you up to date on all the competitions you care about, thanks to the custom-tailored newsfeed, allowing you to follow the competitions, teams, and players that you love. Like everything covered here on the Weekend Recap. Highlights, articles, videos, live scores, match tickers, everything you need. So use the link in the description for a free download on iOS or Android. It's an app. All right, bonus league time. Bonus competition, more like. As on Saturday, the group stage draw for Euro 2020 went down, and that's some need-to-know info. All of the groups were fairly balanced, as in the teams were well distributed and made for competitive groups, except Group F went a little bit wild. All right, Adrian, let's throw the graphic up and let's go through it. Look at this. On-camera Adrian and editor Adrian collaborating. Group A will have Turkey, Italy, Wales, and Switzerland. Group B has Denmark, Finland, Belgium, and Russia. Nice little Scandinavian derby in there. Group C, Netherlands, Ukraine, Austria, and a playoff winner, either from A or D. Group D sees England, Croatia, playoff C winner, and Czech Republic. Group E, Spain, Sweden, very familiar with each other after qualifying together, Poland, and the playoff winner from Path B. And finally, here we go, Group F, the group of death. The playoff winner from either A or D, the defending champions Portugal, the defending World Cup champions France, and the 2014 World Cup champions Germany. The last two World Cup winners and the defending European champions and UEFA Nations League champions, never forget, all in the same group. Can't wait until March now to see who the final four teams will be. Let's go, Portugal. Third place in the group to European champions once again. One match won in under 90 minutes. Let's do it again. Okay, Premier League now. Spurs played their second match under Jose Mourinho in the Premier League, and things went rather similarly to their first match, at least as far as scoring goes. Again, Tottenham found themselves with a 3-0 lead, and again, late on, Tottenham allowed their opponent to get back into the match. I mean, Bournemouth at one point, if it wasn't for Vertonghen, they would have tied it up. However, Tottenham didn't start great in this one either, as Bournemouth could have had a couple of goals early, but a great middle third of the match gave them the 3-0 lead thanks to more incredible play courtesy of Dele Alli and Son Heung-min. When Spurs signed Mourinho, I got the feeling Dele would be one of his monsters on the pitch, just simply because their attitudes seemed perfectly aligned. You want Dele playing with a bit of arrogance, with a bit of a mean streak in him, in my opinion, and Mourinho is the man to fill him with piss and vinegar. Will Wanyama materialize? We'll see. He has form and injuries to battle, but to me, he also seems like a Mourinho-type player. Harry Wilson scored a brace for Bournemouth, and if I was a Liverpool fan, I would be excited at the prospect of him joining the squad next season. 6 goals in 13 Premier League appearances, 3-2 Tottenham, the final there. Chelsea hosted a struggling West Ham United at Stamford Bridge in a match where you would expect the recently high-flying Chelsea to smash their London rivals, but that Chelsea team we used to know and love did not show up on the day, or at least they weren't as ruthless as they typically are. I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 big chances going begging for them, and one of the few that West Ham had, they converted. Chelsea lose for the second match running. Arsenal's first match under Ljungberg, I mean, you can't really expect there to be any difference from the last match considering the short amount of time that Ljungberg has been at the helm. No new manager bounce for him just yet, or not the full-on new manager bounce just yet. Pukki the genius banked a shot, a beautiful shot, off of the arm of Mustafi. You know he meant to do that. You know it. 1-0 Norwich from there. Arsenal were handed a penalty, and I mean that completely literally, by Zimmerman, and Aubameyang converted, but Norwich would take the lead once again before the half was up, with Cantwell opening up his body and slotting it into the corner, and then dancing in the corner. But once again, Aubameyang clawed Arsenal back into this one from a blocked strike falling fortuitously to him from a corner, and to be honest, if it wasn't for Leno, Norwich probably would have gone on to win this one. Arsenal looked better at times, but their defense is just brutal. Speaking of, United welcomed Aston Villa to Old Trafford. Sorry, I don't know why I'm taking shots at the stadium. It doesn't have anything to do with how poor United has been lately. And by lately, I mean under Ole Gunna Solskjaer. And they were poor once again. A newly promoted side, Aston Villa, comes to Old Trafford and pushes them all the way, going toe-to-toe with them until the end of their 2-2 draw.
Wow.
Ole has to go. He has to. Look at his record, man. Look at what he has done. Now, one thing I will say about this is that this graphic is from before the draw with Villa, so it should read 22 matches, 6 wins, and 8 draws. Give the man his draw. I know that United find themselves in a strange position as they don't really want to chop and change their manager yet again, but I've never seen a manager look so in over his head before, yet still get so much time. As Mourinho said, it must be nice to have a job where you don't have to worry about results and you're simply just given time no matter what. If Ole wasn't a United legend, he would be gone by now, no question about it. The only reason why he is still there is because he is a legend of the club. Gotta live with that now. Anyways, Leicester got a stoppage time winner in a 2-1 victory over Everton. Harsh blow to Marco Silva's life expectancy at the Toffees, but Leicester, my God, they're in second place now, with the league's top scorer, Jamie Vardy, scoring his 12th in 13 appearances. Good setup by Kelechi Iheanacho, who gave the Foxes the win later and perhaps cost Marco Silva his job. We'll check out the standings in a sec. But first, big news from the other side of Manchester. Manchester City have dropped points once again, this time against an absolute classic banana skin of theirs, Newcastle United. Last season, Rafa Benitez's Newcastle side defeated Pep Guardiola. That was back in January of 2019. That was their final loss before they went on an unbeaten run towards their Premier League title last season. This time, Steve Bruce's Newcastle nicked a point near the end of the match, courtesy of Jonjo Shelvey's beautifully taken goal. But before that, in the first half, City scored a sublime goal. Great interplay between David Silva and Sterling. Sterling notching his 8th of this season so far. For Newcastle, Almiron got his first assist in the Prem as he set up Willems. Beautiful goal as well. But then just make way for Kevin De Bruyne, who clearly watches this channel and knows how much Adrian loves a little bar down goal and thought he'd do something for old Adrian. His volley off the bar had me screaming, man. In a good way, not into my pillow. I was screaming with joy, out loud, in my home. But as I said, Shelvey's goal was no slouch either. 2-2 the final, and how would Liverpool fail? Fair is what I meant to say. Spoiler alert, you'll have to see. Fairly well, actually, but not great to be honest. As for the 12th match running, they didn't manage to get a clean sheet. That being said, their defense hasn't been bad at all, but just in comparison to how it was last season, this is a regression. No getting around that. That said, Van Dijker, the striker, came to the rescue for Liverpool against Brighton with 2 headed goals in 6 minutes, both supplied by Trent Alexander-Arnold, the local lad. Brighton had a few chances. Lewis Dunk will be a pillow screamer this week. And in the 76th, Alisson got himself sent off for a handball outside of the box. Blatant as hell, and Dunk scored the weirdest free kick from it. Adrian wasn't ready, I guess, because he was standing on the same side as his wall, nearly f***ed it up at the end as well, but Liverpool just hang on. Meaning, they now have an 11-point lead over Manchester City and an 8-point lead over Leicester. Leicester, they continue to kill it under Rodgers, getting their 6th victory on the trot. Look at that. With 2 wins in a row, Spurs move up to 5th. That's how close this league is right now. 5 points separates 5th from 16th. Oh, and Watford's loss to Southampton cost Quique Sanchez-Flores his job, the 2nd sacking of that team's season, and Wolves got their 8th draw of the season, 4 wins and 8 draws, a record Simeone would be very, very jealous of. Well, Italy had a big change this weekend, but before we get to that, let's talk about a change of a different kind. Milan won. Yes. Milan got their first win since October 31st with a 1-0 win away to Parma. They left it extremely late though, with Theo Hernandez scoring the winner in the 88th minute. Finally, something to celebrate for the Milan fans. November was a very long winless month for them. Mind you, they only played 3 matches, but still. Atalanta played their derby against Brescia. That one's called the Derby of Lombardy. Atalanta playing away against their struggling rivals, and things couldn't have gone much better. Despite playing away, Atalanta were quite dominant for most of this match and were good value for their 3-0 win. They tailed off a bit in the second half, but you'd be hard-pressed to find any positives from this Brescia performance. Atalanta the deserving winners. Lazio They're on fire. These guys are really having a hard time dropping points these days, as they are now unbeaten in 9 matches and have won 6 in a row. That's the longest winning streak in the Serie A. Immobile scored a brace, one of which from the penalty spot, and he is absolutely running away with the scoring title in the Serie A. Guy has 17 goals in 14 matches, and even when he was on his hat trick, he still allowed Luigi Alberto to take the second penalty that Lazio were awarded. Thankfully, Luigi Alberto converted it. 3-0 Lazio. Juventus played Sassuolo at home with Dybala getting benched for this game. Either way though, Juventus certainly saw enough of the ball in order to beat Sassuolo comfortably, as you'd expect them to, but they just weren't on it. Ronaldo and Higuain both misfiring. The Ronaldo did convert from the penalty spot. And a good thing too, that goal made it 2-2, a nightmare match from Gigi Buffon, and Juventus dropped points and drop off the top. So the onus was on Inter with an opportunity to take the lead back in the league, playing at the San Siro against Spal. Guess who was on it today as far as the goals go for Inter? If you said Lautaro, the thinking man's choice, then you would be correct. Lukaku wasn't too bad, but it was again Lautaro who was the hero for Inter. 6 shots for the boy, and 2 of them went in. Mattia Velotti pulled one back for the visitors just after the halftime, but Inter held on 2-1 there as they retake first place from Juventus. Inter in first with 37 points, Juve's 36. Lazio are 7 points off of first, and with Napoli losing and the bad vibes continuing, they drop way off of 6th place. Brutal season for them, and it's getting uglier and uglier with the FIFA Pro rulings coming out, etc. I may need to do a video on Napoli and the situation there. Valencia kept their midweek Champions League momentum going over the weekend as they hosted Villarreal at the Mestalla. I really want to go check out the Mestalla, by the way. Get at me, Valencia. Let's go. So yeah, with goals from Rodrigo and Ferran Torres, Valencia get a 2-1 win over the Yellow Submarine, who will have a fellow pillow screamer in their ranks after Moreno had his penalty saved. Real Sociedad, you guys may know them as the La Liga 2019-2020 champions. They got a routine win over Eibar. Martin Odegaard continuing his great run of form and pulling the strings in the Sociedad midfield. He got a goal and an assist, taking his counts up to 3 goals and 4 assists in 13 appearances. He's looking great at Real Sociedad. Sevilla, they took their unbeaten run to 7 matches with 3 wins in a row, coming thanks to their 1-0 win over the bottom boys, Leganés, this weekend. Lopetegui's side get the win thanks to Diego Lopez's goal following a corner, and Sevilla continue to put pressure on the top teams. In fact, they sit just 1 point behind Real Madrid as they had an extremely tough away match against Alaves. Benzema wasn't at his best for Los Blancos, certainly in comparison to the rest of the season so far, but goals from Sergio Ramos and man of the match Dani Carvajal were enough to take them over Alaves. A nervy end, but Real pull through in the end. 2-1. Of course, everyone was watching out for the match between Atletico Madrid and Barcelona, Antoine Griezmann's return to the Wanda Metropolitano, a Wanda Metropolitano that has a new number 7 in the Rojiblanco. It was a pretty entertaining match, if I do say so myself, with the star of which being Ter Stegen, who made 2 very impressive saves in the first half. If it wasn't for him, Atletico would have had the lead going into the first half, despite Piqué also hitting the bar for Barca. Decent header into the ground, bounced up off the bar. Close. Oblak beaten. But in the second, it opened up quite a bit more, and Lionel Messi took the match by the scruff of the neck, as he always has to do for Barcelona, it seems. And his give and go with Suarez gave Barcelona the 1-0 lead in the 86th minute. This team really is Ter Stegen and Messi, plus 9 other players. João Felix watch? He barely got the ball in this match, but when he did, he managed to create more chances than any other player on Atleti. I'm thinking of that one that he put right on a plate for Hermoso. And the Stegen made a crazy save. Okay, so the table. Barcelona stays at the top with Real Madrid on 31 points, both of which have a match in hand, and they will be playing each other on December 18th. That loss leaves Atleti 6 points behind the leaders, having played 1 extra match, while Sevilla is still within touching distance. They're right there. Here we go. The last Liga, the Bundesliga, and we'll start with the top of the table clash between Freiburg and Borussia Mönchengladbach. After losing last weekend, Mönchengladbach really laid down a marker in beating Freiburg 4-2, and they could have had more if it wasn't for Breel Mbolo's pen kissing the bar. But despite that, 3 goals in the second half from Mönchengladbach gave them a comfortable 4-2 win, and Mbolo with the brace and a massive performance. He's looking great at his new club and under Marco Rose. I mean, who wouldn't look great next to that stud, am I right? RB Leipzig, after fighting back from 2 down against Benfica this past week, they found themselves 3-0 up after just 26 minutes away to FC Paderborn. Easy peasy for them. You wouldn't dare think that they would throw this away, right? Not with Lord Sabitzer on the score sheet, right? How could they? Well, they nearly did. In the second half, Paderborn pulled it back to 3-2, and the heat was on. Thankfully for Leipzig, their performance picked up toward the end, but that was a scary storm they had to weather. Borussia Dortmund had a similar thing happen to them. 2-0 up away to Hertha Berlin after 17 minutes. They really did their best to let Hertha back into the match. First, De Rita made it 2-1 in the 34th. Then, in the 45th minute, Mats Hummels got himself sent off for his second yellow of the match. Nightmare couple of games for him, in recent memory at least. The own goal against Bayern, a red against Hertha, bookending his decent performance against Paderborn. And you know who I haven't given enough love to lately? David Wagner's Schalke, who are undefeated in 5 matches and with their win over Union Berlin, find themselves in 3rd place. Big up Schalke. After that horrible season last season for them and a horrible season for Wagner at Huddersfield, it's nice to see these two finding each other and working so well together. You can find love again. The talk of the weekend, however, was probably Bayern's big win at the Allianz Arena. Sorry, that's Bayer's really big win. Another team carrying some good form on from their Champions League exploits, Bayer Leverkusen, namely Leon Bailey and Kevin Volland, came in hot in the first half, with Bailey's brace putting them 2-1 ahead. Thomas Müller scored for Bayern, which typically means they don't lose, but on this occasion, history was made. After 87 matches in which Thomas Müller has scored, with 82 of those being wins and 5 of them draws, on the 88th occasion in which he has scored for them, they have finally lost. 2-1 was the final for Leverkusen, with a terrible ending for them. Getting a red in the 81st didn't make things easy or any less challenging of holding off Bayern, but hey man, they pulled it off. So, Mönchengladbach are still top by just a single point, while Schalke, Bayern, and Dortmund are 3, 4, and 5 points back, respectively. And respectfully, I will decline to continue this video. That's everything you need to know. I have some fun videos planned for you this week, so subscribe if you're new and don't want to miss out on a player bio on a rising star, an explainer of some sort, and perhaps something else. A mystery box for you this week, opening loot boxes here on Rabona TV. Alright guys, thanks for watching, I love ya, and take care.